Na nitiawa ene say rabies na ya ka rabies no eye den na rabies no den na kofa eba ansa kraman create me nya rabies kraman nya rabies nso a oka nipa na nipa nya waka nipa no den na nipa ne betumi aye e wa bra kraman o rabies aka no se nipa no so entu ho na montem na rabies na manifest how does it manifest na den na betumi aye afa ho mene eye Michaela or Michaela? Michaela, I'm welcome. Oba so no hofefo and yeba abetutun common or a risks communications officer or veterinary services Ghana or no enawaba veterinary service for a year event bia or more a Sunday alarm no say we no yenhwe ye hu eye enunti enene ye twetwen sa enkomono mema wakwa aba eba jumedi no so
Enya.
Yo. But your opinion now, we are collab. We are here for too much. We are all. Me that is an opinion about Becca Yensa. You go straight to the point. I need to commend you for a year. Send the time so efe. Ghana for baby na ye time so sanka. Enye baby I woni. Na rabies mpacha yeden.
Rabies. Okay, my man famra asekra. Mostly, omeimu. Yeah, attach rabies to encramine. Now, so rabies is a viral infection. It may affect mammals. Okay. Mammals here, emwa ana nipa. Omo mammary glands into omo umtimima omo manufo. Okay. They give birth to their young ones alive. Yeah. So these are mammals. Okay. Rabies affects dogs, can affect cats and bats, humans. So rabies, a viral infection, affecting mammals. Okay. But it's mostly transmitted and spread it from saliva. Okay. But on my immuno, the major risk factor that spreads or risk vector or transmissible organism or spreading rabies, dogs.
Oh, I didn't hear.
So pet population, no, most people have dogs. Okay. And we care for more dogs than we have in the wild. But so called I'm on it to say USA. Rabies cases, no, they are mostly from the wild. Okay. Into mostly they get it from bat bites. Yeah, bats mom, but we really do not live very close to wildlife. But nonsense, I don't know so because of industrialization, you're moving into the spaces of the wild. Okay. So now there are spillovers of diseases between the wild animals and the humans, the wild animals and the pet animals, and then vice versa. And I was saying because rabies a 100% fatality. Okay. Now so also 100% preventable. We consistently advise pet owners say, every year, among vaccinating, among cramine, among vaccinating, among cats, who stray animal beer, and anyone say, Ofa won't stand in petty one, like in Kikam, anyhow, because you don't know where they're from. But if you still want to care for that animal, you take that animal in, make sure you visit the vet instantly, and then make sure the vet vaccinates the animal. And mostly, if you say, rabies, utimenya from just dog bites. But it will surprise you to know it's a scratch. Especially from cats. Someone said cats, omo groom omo into omo de omo intosio leke omo nsahon na de into the saliva ends up on their claws into omo the scratcher you can get rabies. Monkeys can give you rabies. Into enya enkraman kwana was say share omo husiye. Now so the general pet population is very necessary.
Na then aba ama a veterinary services for money abri.
Since last year, but also say a call back in history, since 2016, the human rabies cases are cost say it affects animal populations, but it can also affect human populations. Now, so who said the populations in human rabies cases are going very high. So we need to do something in the animal health space. But September is also World Rabies Awareness Day. It's I mean, the day is set aside for the 28th of September. Until we took the entire month, say, the Bayer campaign, the Bayer free vaccinations, subsidized vaccinations in hotspots regions, especially Greater Accra and Ashanti. But this year, aside from September, there will be 8 other regions that Yebe campaigns for 6 months. And then maybe hopefully next year we'll do the rest of the other 8 because a very serious issue. If you see someone die out of rabies, it's very horrifying, honestly speaking. And some of the symptoms include, in a human being, in a human being, if you've been attacked by, or if you've gotten a bite or a scratch by an animal, the symptoms can begin to show between 4 days to 3 months. Some can even go as far as 2 years. But then, some can even go as far as 2 years. And it's interesting to know that rabies cases, the manifestation are in 2 forms. The furious or the aggressive type of rabies, and then the paralytic ones. The furious and aggressive type is the most common one we see. In Tiano, mostly 80% of cases are the furious and aggressive type. In Tiano, if the human being is affected, they become scared of water. They become scared of air. Even touch becomes an issue. In some cases, some people end up barking. And that's because the rabies virus, it inhabits or it lives in the brain. And so it affects the central nervous system. So some of them start acting confused, depressed, delusional, they hallucinate. You can even misdiagnose that as a mental problem, but it could be rabies that is manifesting. And then the paralytic rabies case, which affects mostly 20% of people, in that case too, they also exhibit depression, anxiety, and then the hydrophobia. The hydrophobia is the fear of water. It's not because they are literally scared of water, but because the virus affects your central nervous system, your brain and your nerve impulses it helps coordinate with body movements. The virus now, it makes the brain inflamed into brain but because of that inflammation, it's causing so many other things that is not supposed to happen in your body happen. So that makes the muscles in the throat contracting, restricting into when they drink water, they feel some sort of pain and fear. It can't be explained. That's something. So who obi or suffer from rabies because once symptoms starts to show, we are sorry, but the person will end up dying because rabies is 100% fatality kind of disease, but then it's also 100% preventable.
So it is not curable.
So in the entire world, since rabies had been diagnosed over 2,000 years ago, there's been very little cases of people that have successfully been treated with rabies. They are even under 50 people. And I was reading on rabies some time ago, and there was only one girl who survived rabies without any treatment. And in her case, they had to induce her into coma because rabies virus, it inhabits the brain. So they had to medically induce her into a coma. The brain will not be active. And the body building immunity to fight against the disease. It's been over 20 years now since that little girl survived. And so far, she's the only person that has survived rabies without any treatment or vaccination whatsoever. But in most cases, it's death.
And so be the baby na Romeo na hello Romeo na Romeo scratch no. In this case, me fan say adene can say cats. Since we say omutumi live in almost nails no na scratch no non de eja ofiliso Romeo na scratch no kwani baby a. Nipa no betumi anya rabies na ode ebewu.
Yes.
Na so obi me fan say ko obi fie onim say kraman wo ho. Obo do mu do ne da ho wure mu na kraman ne bechesi na watafre ne ho kakra. Immediately, what should the person do? Since nipa no onim say kraman no rabies or new rabies.
So, okay, Romeo Hansen. Into Romeo scratcher, when you're any animal biter, we tell you to make sure that the wound site, the scratch or bite site, make sure that you wash it with soap and water for close to 10 to 15 minutes. This will reduce the risk of infection. But afterwards, no, don't stay at home. Immediately rush to a health facility. So the health facility, your vaccine, your vaccine, no post-exposure prophylaxis. So vaccine after you've been exposed to a likely case of rabies. So vaccine, no, it's not just a one shot kind of thing. A number of shots, I think 6. So you'd have to follow through to the very end. Into local health facility, you've been bitten or scratched by an animal or mobile vaccine. No. But then also one thing that you should know, so we vaccinate animals now. It reduces the risk totally because, like I said, in the humans you need like 6 shots, but in the animals you just need 1 shot for a year. So isn't it cheaper to rather save the animals so that we too are protected? Or you prefer to rather be bitten or scratched and then now later on go and pay for over 6 shots? And some of these shots are expensive because some people go to private facilities and sometimes they can pay over 800 cedis for 1 shot, which is very expensive.
But for the whole year?
No, for the human being. No? Okay. In humans. Okay. So that's post-exposure. Okay. But in the animals, it's for an entire year. And it's for an entire year because you don't know when else the animal will become exposed. So we advise annual vaccination of your pets. But then it will interest you to know, say, livestock in Sutuminya rabies.
As in akoko?
As in cattle, pig, goats, sheep.
But in koko
in Koko, I haven't heard of a case of...
Okay.
Yeah.
But in Timponchini way...
Because some more mammals.
Aponchinya rabies, na ukunu na worry.
So it is not advisable because although say it inhabits the brain, most of the time another symptom you see in the animal is hypersalivation. Into a lot of saliva. You coming into contact with that saliva might be your exposure to rabies. So why would you now want to kill it and now want to cook it?
So na
saliva ne.
Now one we need things way. Anyway, as a service, na mutumi ababo nti abeka say figures here be there alarming. You will come to the figures and say oh na onia afem. But is it mandatory? Now is it by force? So keep pet. Say yeah cramine, say yeah cat, say I livestock can we say yeah punchy, say in tria, it be a wunya almost for commercial purposes. By force say baby shell say every year you need to vaccinate. Maybe I chill so won't vaccinate you more over problem.
It's supposed to be like that. Now, Animal Bill Act, that's our parliament. Until it's passed, there are certain things we cannot fully enforce. So we've been, a pet owners kasa, farmers kasa. In
the area of the law, no pressure ben more is it.
In the area of the law, we've pushed for even the Public Health Act to be revised so that we can properly align and then do disease surveillance. And also we need a One Health collaboration because cases called human side and at the veterinary side and one thing I forgot to mention, so local hospital nasa mama will post exposure prophylaxis vaccine. It was someone sensible veterinary facility because in our case contact tracing. So we trace the animal. Has this animal been vaccinated? If this animal has not been vaccinated, then what next? So if this animal maybe is a stray animal in a particular area, a keka and crophobebre in that area, we do that kind of contact tracing. But in most cases, hospital that gap is left. And then it's causing things to spread. So having a One Health approach would help things very well. It would even structure things in sharing data. How many number of cases of rabies we are having in the country, because a lot of them go unreported. From our side, we are pushing, and that's why we need your help. So we need the media to push to let Parliament pass this bill for us so that we'll be able to properly manage diseases such as rabies so that the human population is protected, the animal population is protected.
Our program national more mention stray dogs and I say pose the highest risks this year as far as rabies is concerned. Then I bet me I have no because dog no neura why na okobisa no.
Yeah. Previously, no. So your career free vaccinations are in young crop for match stray dogs na ya wo and panye vaccine no. Now so say it's very difficult because so will be say boa now on check cramai send a bay they want some money. And most of these things we are doing free, willingly, voluntarily for the greater good, public health. So it's a challenge getting the stray dogs. However, if you live in an environment or in an area where you've noticed that there's a high rise of pets or stray populations, we should be looking at the sanitary conditions in that area. Because they have no owners, they have to eat. Because animals do have needs. They have to eat. So when the sanitation in the area isn't good, you realize the population of strays go high. So now what is local government doing about it? That is what I'm saying. It's a One Health approach. The environmental health officers, what can we do about it? Now the human health officers, we need to go out there and then tell the general public in that area that these and these and these are what are happening. We, the veterinarians, too, would go there and tell them that when they see stray animals acting in aggressive ways, biting people, they should report. Because when all these things are not done, populations no be kosro. In Kramano, omoda so have sex, they are on the streets. We are not doing anything about it. But also, some people can also take stray animals in. But like I said, so person first stray in, immediately you take that stray in, visit the vet and have that pet vaccinated.
Veterinary services. Most statistics are more. You mentioned say rates near high, Greater Accra, rates near high, Ashanti region. Greater Accra hano, saying, and which areas? And because say where hotspots and I say red areas.
And see, between Greater Accra near Ashanti region, there were highest hotspots. Okay. Yes. Into this year, we are launching the World Rabies Day celebration in Ashanti region so that we can properly go into the districts and do vaccinations. But then we realize, say, when you look at these two areas, the Greater Accra and then Greater Kumasi or Ashanti regions, it's mostly in the urban, peri-urban areas because it's in those areas a lot of people own pets. So it's in these areas. But then we've also noticed that in rural communities,
I want to stress no doors.
Na stress no doors.
In
the urban centers, we to me who and easily identify, but in the rural centers, it goes very unreported. And Obi Befi said, "Oh, Krama we are coming, and so we don't even know that in the rural centers it's higher. It might even be much higher than in the urban centers, but because it's going unreported, yes, so in Greater Accra and Kumasi, it's the urban and then peri-urban areas. But then we are also looking into the rural communities because there are a lot of cases there. And it will interest you to know, say, even in rural areas, some rabies cases end up in police.
Interesting.
Some rabies cases end up at police station. So, my name is crime me. I can't Makatro about it. And maybe Akolana ends up dying from rabies. That becomes something else. Someone can take you to court for it. Because first of all, you haven't been a responsible pet owner. And see, I don't know. It's a very huge, like I said, it's very sad to see somebody die out of rabies. It's a very huge problem. In fact, WHO has pronounced it a global health security threat. And so we have to work against 100% preventable human rabies cases by starting from the animal populations.
Vet. Usually, no, mostly, you been with a man for a Jessica Omo de omo nkrama egu ka mo nkrama no se nye local ye mo abrofudi
locals so far
no omo de omo egu ka mo neja omo de omo aba na omo aba wo ne ma no ne bo ye den
that be it will interest you to know, say, in vaccinating your dog, you can get a vaccine for as less as 10 cedi to 15 cedis. Exactly. And for an entire year. Would you rather vaccinate your dog for 10 to 15 cedis, or you rather you being bitten or another person being bitten and you pay for 6 doses
of 800 cedis if it's private?
And exactly. It would depend on the facility. So yeah, So let's choose the easy way out. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. It's very cheap. So we are encouraging people to go out there and then vaccinate their pets. If you know a friend that has a pet, encourage them. Have a pet association so that you people can care for your animals better. Every year you remind people, have you guys gone to vaccinate your animals? Let's do it together. Let's prevent rabies.
Veterinary service, do you have the capacity, as in nipadromno, say be a mobeka so yentin sukrum, or there's a mumma, yentin sukrum, some maybe mao. Yeah, it could also be like a revenue, you know, what your friend is saying.
Yeah.
Na yentin sukrum, you're about fear. So we are vaccinated, you get something to show.
Card, yeah.
In the about fear, na crime or honor own vaccinated, and a year to a fear office are by there. Instead of 15, maybe at 30. My dream be home say, apart from the free ones, I'm because rabies are some see.
Oh yeah. We actually do. Yeah, core communities. Some of the communities, opinion leaders kasa. They tell us that they have probably a deba na bibisa inti yembra na yembe vaccination. But what we realize in our field of work, mostly our patients don't come to us. What say young core. And most people will say, so they can't bring their animals. So we actually do door to door. We actually go house to house, especially in the rural communities. We go house to house, door to door. We let the information vans go around to announce that we will be in the town between this period and this period. Until to me, the won crime ne we jina mwaba yebe vaccinating ama. But when you realize the percentages of people coming in are lower, yankasa you caught into the homes na So we do it.
Michaela Meba, I have a question. I maybe so, but
Sure.
Get ready to soar the skies of Rwanda. Business in Kigali, shopping in Johannesburg, or vacation in Paris. Experience our vast destination network and proud fleet and award-winning service. Whether you are a new traveler planning your next escape, Rwanda guarantees unmatched comfort and a sky-spanning network. Book your next flight today at rwandair.com or reach us via email at sales.accra@rwandair.com. Call us at +233 0598 760 645 or +233 0598 797 194 or visit your nearest travel agents.
Rwanda, fly the dream of Africa. Are you tired of roaming for your medications and can't find them? Do you want to speak to a pharmacist or simply need privacy when buying your medications? Do you want your drugs to be delivered to you at the comfort of your home or office? Then it's time to download the DrugNet app, spelled DRUGNET, from the Play Store or App Store to enjoy total convenience. Use DrugNet, your multiple award-winning online pharmacy, for prompt delivery of all your medications. For further inquiries on DrugNet, call 0593-159-139 or 0501-646-496. And remember, we also accept all private health insurance cards. DrugNet, your #1 online pharmacy.
Abefo akwanya ya faso edi djuma na nsenye no enwanwa meboa ema dada djumedi ahodo ayedie no eyentem na sanso yemre ewo Ghana Post ya dana de se ya je abefo kwan soronko a ya faso di djuma no atomo amia nya ho abasobode beti se the prestigious courier service brand ewo mfimpim mienu ene aduonu miensamo ene best EMS customer care sa kwan foforo eboa ema ya sommusompa nanso enipa bonfo binum pese wodi nipa ene nyumaku ahodo a ya somwo no nya waye bribi etise website any Ghana Post dia wunim de dano www.ghanapost.com.gh eyase entimi se watie bomoden ye hwehwemu ansa na woni obi bia a wase se oye adwuma edima Ghana Post edinkita ho anase edidwa Ghana Post emmisa se fa wo bank account anase o electronic card ehun nsem fa maye se wo besuma sika edi afamomuso edi abran a kai se ye USSD code no ewo ho *885# nya rehwemu se ye bebo udwuma dia woni ye die no nsem no eho ban ya krado se ene obedi nkita ho ewo Facebook X so ana Instagram so @Ghana Post _ obetimi ede wonsem afa WhatsApp ede a brain number ni 0542 527004. Stay smart, stay safe, and click with confidence.
It's time to relive the golden age of good African music. Legendary music that still thrills and never gets old at African Legends Night. Come and enjoy live band performances from Adani Best, George Gerard, Ochami Kwame, and the Princess of Africa, Yvonne Chaka Chaka. It's happening live on Saturday, October 5th, 2024 at the Grand Arena Dome, AICC at 6 p.m. Get your tickets at 450 Ghana Cedis single and 800 Ghana Cedis double. You can purchase your tickets online via Eco Tickets and short code *713 *33 *20#, and also at Airport Shell, YFM Legon City Mall, Silverbird Cinemas, and Global Media Alliance, Jowulu. For VIP tickets and table reservations, please call 020-2222-095. African Legends Night is powered by Global Media Alliance and proudly supported by Consolidated Bank Ghana, Ghana Tourism Authority, Silverbird Cinemas, E-Productions, and Perception Management International. Media partners: YTV, Happy FM, CTFM, YFM, Ghana Web, MX24 TV, Amayal Deborah, Daily Guide, BNFT, Channel 1 TV, ZFM, Oman FM, Net2 TV, The New Finder, and NYDJ Live. Remember, it's happening live on Saturday, October 5th, 2024 at the Grand Arena, African Legends Night, celebrating music of African origin.
You're back on the show, Happy Morning Show, and pay your health conversation, your name veterinary services for NIA Chuchunkomo. Yakasa afa rabies home any idea, but I think say may deviate a cry because they have veterinary services for Yentiomon Cantino, and they more ever studio no, ye the Bibia Ebeshi so. Mimisa Michaela. Apart from rabies and sensemia ye di home komo veterinary services, which other areas ena muni eshe?
Oh, so general animal welfare, yes, so food safety is very important because most of the foods we consume are mainly animal food products than even plant-based. Aside the meat, you the egg, you the milk, most of them are from animal sources. Antimicrobial resistance in animal food products.
Because me I know what your bar meaning antimicrobial are there now. Okay.
Antimicrobial resistance, it's wait, I just say mechanical bro for more. Antimicrobial resistance. Rebecca say when who said germs and said germs almost so now say we use medication for more. You can't cure them. That's because
so you no antibiotics.
Yeah, no antibiotics, but you are taking it in doses that are prescribed. Okay. Now, so you have a way you contribute to making sure that antimicrobial
now animals only antibiotics track and men or more.
Farmers nimo be you say antibiotics as growth promoters.
Huh?
Farmers nimo be you say antibiotics nibi as growth promoters.
As no call a pharmacy and as a chemical shop no matter to antibiotics. Now you demand the panel antibiotics and the panel
No, generally no. Medication now, yet you use it in humans. Same is used in animals because even most of them are tested on animals before it's used in humans. Into the same form is the same we use in animals. Now, so dosages never differ. Okay. But also in humans, no, dosages, no, or the medication, they can come as singles. Now, so in animals, no, mostly a cocktail. Into maybe 3 to 4 antibiotics in one pack with vitamins. Into what they can show no more, now what they can feed no more, not in one no. Most of them feel it's a way to prevent their animals from getting sick. Okay. But then that's not the way to go. Antibiotics is for treatment and it's not to promote growth. Yes. Observe withdrawal period. Withdrawal period, your timer. When you've given an animal medication, the time it would take for the body to remove all that medication from the system. Observe withdrawal periods, and I said they produce that animal food product, and I said they slaughter that animal. Near Tiana said the medication is still active in the animal's muscle. Into you consume, you're also exposing yourself to these antibiotics. Into a baby, you go to the hospital or more prescribing medication or more the mawa and work because your body has become so used to the medication and then the antimicrobials, the microbes, the germs almost so, because they've thrived in an environment with antibiotics, so they know how to fight the antibiotics. So you'll be treating, and then no solution is coming. November is antimicrobial or antimicrobial awareness month. Into November, I'm meeting me about dicey on antimicrobial resistance.
Michaela no pay me that's what is see as anyway mama me join namre.
Oh, that be
That's we need Michaela from veterinary services and I'm in no etwetwe nkomo ya twe nkomo afa rabies ho mesrew aboa bi scratch wa also first a year aid no so di nsuo ene samina ebe hohoro baby aboa no eka wo no so wa scratch so de ne sia ka anaso ode ne takrama kwa afra wo ho no ube hohoro honum saa for about 15 to 20 minutes uwie pe na wo ko hospital and yes wo we ya na wakope baby ada saa so na wo nkraman wo cat livestock ne ade nyina na make sure so vaccinate yomo 15 cedis 10 cedis ebe mesremo wo de wontumi kra mfa omo nko a ebe kraman wu ni wa wo ka enti wontumi hu se me fa ne ntina trotro mu ukofa uber kra bia uber driver se me mpe kraman wo meka mu enti wontumi mfa ne nko a wo be from no ma be fie no wa be vicinity amount who stray dog wo area report it na omo emehwe emau na yemwa because wontumi nkonya rabies because krama bia ka na mete thinking say emfa me ho because enyeme na krama na scratch me na krama na kame and so na me so ma ba benye bi because they say through saliva nipa so was saliva sa we hu intimacy very very important the warning is that el cosro ye nyina yentumi mba mbenya rabies na yembe pupo a oman mu ntino we should all be mindful na yemwa mpacho final words na fe no yemfensi.
My final words please vaccinate your animals, vaccinate your pets every single year. It is very important. And when you get a dog bite, cat scratch, don't assume that it is normal, so you are fine. Make sure you visit a health center and visit a veterinary center as well. Veterinary facility when bitten by a dog or a scratch. We will follow up and make sure that everything involved concerning the animal is dealt with properly. We are also calling on stakeholders, especially from the human side and environmental side, to work with us.
Call on Parliament too.
Yes, Parliament should pass our Animal Health Bill. It's very necessary, and our Public Health Act, so that we can properly address the issue of disease surveillance in the animal system.
Me da se Michaela no pay say waba abeka yen Isaac